Morning everyone. Yes, just got done at the gym. I know you were wondering. Yes, I've been. And it's time for another wonderful Blood Bowl vlog. So today there's this little topic that I wanted to chuck out there at some point. It's just about generally what to expect when you attend your first tournament, or just when you start going in general. On the Facebook Blood Bowl community, I've seen a few times a rough comment from one or two guys saying, "I've bit the bullet. I'm nervous. I don't know what to expect. Should I be bothering?" About attending their first tournament. They've jumped in, they bought the ticket, and they're wondering if it's for them, because obviously I know a lot of you guys have only just picked up the game or have come back to the game from a long time out, so it's all still at this stage kind of new. Maybe you've just had a league or two behind you and you wanted to get into the tournament scene. Now, I can only speak from my experience from the UK tournament scene. Maybe things are a little bit different in Europe or wherever you are, but in general I'm going to be sort of talking about how things are here in the UK. And long story short, basically I could wrap up this vlog right now and say that it's great, go, absolutely do it, it's brilliant. But obviously we're going to sort of elaborate a little bit more on that. Essentially the tournament scene is a great way to increase your own capability with the game. You're going to be playing a host of different players, depending on obviously how far out you go. If you're just running a tournament with your league buddies or something like that, you'll get one or two of the guys from the UK scene to attend, and you'll have a few different people to play with. But if you're going to get on the road yourself and go to each end of the country to play this great game of ours, then you're going to come into contact with a whole bunch of new people. You're going to meet so many new faces, and in general, everyone I've met on this tournament scene in the past, I've been going strong for 5 years now. I went to my first grand tournament in 2006, I think it was, but going strong for the past 5, and 99% of the guys on this tournament scene are real pleasure to hang out with and play some games for the weekend. There's a growing trend of one-day tournaments as well, which are real handy. The kind of player pool of Blood Bowl is still, from what I've seen, slightly older than that which we witness in the Warhammer 40,000 community and possibly Age of Sigmar. I'm not sure about that though. But it's a little bit older. There's a few sort of more late 20s to 40s in the age range there, and so we all kind of, I guess, empathise with each other a bit more. We know where we stand. A lot of us have wives and girlfriends or partners back home that are sort of rolling their eyes and clock watching, waiting for you to get back. But it's a great weekend in general. It's something to look forward to when it comes around, especially one of the big ones. Like I said recently, the NAF Championships had 209 players. Now, obviously, that's an example of one of the major tournaments. But if you can get to a good tournament with 20 people there, 30 people, you'll have a real good time of it, and hopefully there's a good mix of skills. Not everybody's there to be super competitive, so if that's something that you're worried about, don't. There's plenty of people that, even though we're attending tournaments and you'd think that the idea is to go and try and win the thing, not everybody does that. Obviously everyone wants to win games, but you might go with some wacky goblin roster or something that you just you just want to have fun with for the weekend. You want to go somewhere, go and see the wonderful sights of Swindon at Cake Bowl or something like that, and just relax with some friends for the weekend. It's obviously we all we all work hard, and a tournament is a great way to sort of get away from things for a couple of days. So like I said, the player base isn't too hyper competitive. You've got a mix of people there. So you've got a few guys typically that will have a higher ability than others, and they'll be competing for the tournament. You'll have a couple of guys playing the stunty teams just there to have a good time, and you'll have a few guys in the middle of that just trying to get out with an even record or something. So how to prepare yourself? Well, I suppose if you're thinking of attending a tournament, you've likely played the game already. It's not where you exactly start playing Blood Bowl. But just have a look at the rules pack and maybe think about what team would suit the skills pack and the rules pack, the team value, you know? So at the end of the day, if you just think, no, I really want to go and play Khemri or something, then just go ahead and do it. You know, you might not have the skills package to make them difficult to beat, but if that's what you want to play, then just go for it. But the ideal, I would say, is to consider the rules pack and the skills package and what you can actually build with that skills package. One thing I want to just add at this point, if there's any tournament organizer listening to this one, is one thing that does actually bug me at the moment particularly is skills packs that restrict the amount of duplicate skills you can take. The reason being, some of these Blood Bowl teams sort of depend on, you know, repeat skills. Like the Lizardmen, for example, you pretty much, I think, just want to put block on all 6 Saurus warriors, really. Now, take that with a pinch of salt by all means. I haven't played them. I know plenty of people that do, and as far as my understanding is, that's how you would ideally build your Lizardmen, with, you know, 6 skills to give them or something like that. But yeah, you know, if you go to a tournament where you can only take 2 of the same skill, that limits the amount of block you can give to Lizardmen. It limits the amount of guard you can give to Dwarfs, or to even Amazons. It limits the amount of dodge you can put on your Dark Elf Blitzers, which may be less of an issue. So if you're a tournament organizer and you're a new tournament organizer, and you're looking out and you're seeing other tournaments that put these sort of restrictions on, don't just sort of arbitrarily use the same method for building your skills package, okay, and your rule set. Think about why these TOs might actually be putting this restriction on. And to be perfectly honest with you, the only reason I've ever really come across, you know, heard muttered as the reason why, is to prevent guard spam Dwarfs. Now, this is a little bit off topic, but to be honest, his vlog was always going to be a bit more of a ramble because it was just about tournaments in general, really. But guard spam Dwarfs are not the most powerful team in the history of Blood Bowl. They're just more difficult to play against than Dwarfs usually are. It's the optimal and ideal skills progression for the Dwarf team. It helps them become more competitive. It will help you. Certainly, it will benefit you in attempting to win the tournament if you have access to a lot of guard. But the Wood Elves are still number 1, and Wood Elves are absolutely in no way affected by any kind of skills restriction, nor are the Undead, who are statistically number 2. There's, I think, little to no skill repetition in the what you would call ideal progression for both of those teams. You know, the Wood Elves, I've said it before on these vlogs, strip ball, tackle, leader, wrestle. There's no repetition there. In the Undead, you've got maybe a sure hands ghoul, wrestle ghoul, block ghoul, 2 guard wights, maybe guard tackle, again, I'm just throwing out examples, but you see what I mean. There's no repetition there at all, and those are the two statistically most competitive teams, the teams that win most NAF ranked games in Blood Bowl. So when you put a skill restriction on your skill pack, in terms of what can be taken, in terms of duplicates, you're not hurting those the two most powerful teams in any way whatsoever. All you're doing is making the kind of second, third, fourth, fifth rather teams like Dwarfs and Lizardmen less competitive. So just consider that if you're a TO, if you're looking to organise a tournament yourself, even if you're listening to this and you've organised for quite a while now, just consider that really, because I've got to be honest with you, when I see a tournament that has quite a harsh restriction on it, like only two of the same skill, for example, I'm even second guessing the human team, because I like to take 3 guard. I like 3 guard on the blitzers. So when you consider that you've got a player here that would think twice about taking their preferred team, you're kind of closing doors, really. Whereas I'm not going to not attend any tournament because there's a chance I might draw a guard dwarf player. So that's that little side note. But round back to where we started with that little diatribe. Have a look at the skills pack when you're just before you sort of have a think about what team you might want to take. Maybe you want to go one team anyway. You actually own one team, but have a look at the pack. See what you can build with it. There's plenty of resource online. Go to the forum talkfantasyfootball.org, and there's a lot of tournament discussion. There's a lot of discussion about skills, tactics, that kind of thing. Get involved on that forum. It's a good resource. For a start, it's where a lot of NAF ranked tournaments are actually advertised. So again, if you want to run a tournament, that's a great place to get the kind of veteran UK tournament scene goers involved. Again, you may have heard on a previous vid that I've done, I mentioned the NAF and being involved, being a member. If you haven't heard that about it, then just briefly, it's a international membership organisation for Blood Bowl that allows you to be ranked internationally by race. So, for instance, your dwarf ranking is separate from your wood elf ranking, but it's a great thing to be part of. It's currently this is £5 a year as I record this. And you get a little dice set and Blood Bowl token to go with it, and then you're ranked. And every time you then attend a NAF registered tournament and you play against other NAF ranked players, you'll be battling out for coaching points that contribute to your ranking. So that's a good thing to be a part of. But the tournament scene's changed a little bit over the past 5 years, I think. Well, I would say, even to draw onto my longer experience of going to the Grand Tournament, definitely in the past 10, 11 years, it did used to be a bit more of a drinking culture. There's been a couple of tournaments I've been to where the beer has run out. The venue has actually horribly miscalculated how much beer a bunch of nerds would possibly consume, and it's run out on a couple of occasions. But I think we've kind of mellowed out a bit. Mellowed out a bit. Like I said, the 2016 release has brought a really, really nice injection of new players into the tournament scene in the UK. I'm sure it has done wherever you are in the world as well. But in general, the kind of veteran UK tournament players, at the end of the day, they're 10 years older from when I started. So a lot of us are married with kids and houses and mortgages to pay for now, and so the drinking is kind of subsided a little bit. We still enjoy a beer, and I guess it all depends on how badly it's going. Game 3 on a Saturday. If you feel like it's already a disaster of a tournament, and all you've got to do on Sunday is salvage some pride, then you might sink a few. But that said, if you're thinking of bringing your kids along, some tournaments have age restrictions on. Very few, but just in general, if it's going to be a themed tournament with a bit more of an adult theme. But for the most part, especially recently at the NAF Championships in Nottingham, it's a lot more child friendly than it used to be. So kids are absolutely welcome. It's a great thing to see that there's some young players on the Blood Bowl scene as well that are going to grow up with the game and hopefully be attending tournaments for many more years to come. Just hopefully they don't actually win one before I do, because that'd be embarrassing. So please don't train your children too well at this game. Let me win a trophy first, and then by all means turn them into the Lionel Messi of Blood Bowl for all I care. Just give me that one little glimmer of hope first. But yeah, it's a good scene. Everyone's, I say everyone, 99%. I can't account for the one or two people who unfortunately do let the side down on occasion and react badly to losing, or just aren't that great company to be around. I have played one or two. I'm sure if you've played any kind of game system at a tournament level, you've come across a few players that, you just wonder why you're even here at this ultimately social event. I know it's a tournament, but it's not like we're playing the Champions League final. We're playing a board game, for crying out loud. But they're few and far between. So if you're worried about that, maybe you've played some tournament games on another game system where there was unfortunately a high percentage of not very nice players, shall we say. You don't really have that to worry about in Blood Bowl. Again, that's the UK people, so you might have a few more so-and-sos over in Europe or something. But overall here, it's a really great community to be a part of. Everyone's, for the most part, a lot of fun to be around. So if you're thinking of going to a tournament here in the UK or anywhere, definitely dive in. Just have a think about what you want to take, what you want to achieve. If you don't care in the slightest about your results, then take whatevs. If you want to go and give yourself the best chance of winning a couple of games, then sit down and think about it. Think about your rules pack. Think about what the skill selections benefit what teams, and have a look at the most rules packs. When you take a look at what the tournament offers, we'll have a couple of other awards as well. So you might have an award for most touchdowns, and you think, I'm going to take this Wood Elf list, or I'm going to take these Skaven, and I'm just going to try and rattle them in, win, lose or draw. I want to score every turn, every game rather, as many as I can. Or there's typically these days there's a Stunty Cup. So for Goblin, Ogre and Halfling teams, you might have an award specifically for that. There are some good players that try to win those, so it's not an easy thing to do, regardless of it being a smaller pool of competition, so to speak. But it could be something that you want to have a go at. But all in all, guys, if you want to go to a tournament, don't be nervous about it. Don't second guess yourself. Absolutely jump in and have a great time. And hopefully, I will actually see one or two of you guys at a tournament in the UK at some point. So we'll leave it there, guys. I hope you're enjoying your Blood Bowl. Roll some dice and play some more, and we will see you guys later.